STP for Books, IPA Books Plus recording webinar. My name's Corey Anderson. I'm a Customer Success Manager with IPA Books Plus. I'm also a fellow of the IPA as well, having spent many years ago in accounting myself. So I do appreciate you guys solving exponentially looming around the corner. So before we get cracking on the webinar, just go through a little bit of housekeeping. The first one here is the audio options. So we've got the computer audio or phone call. We recommend the computer, but it's up to you. It'll automatically connect up to the audio on your computer. If you prefer the phone call, dial in, choose phone call, dial in, follow the details and that sort of thing. Everyone is muted on this webinar, just to make the experience better for everyone. So we can't interact on that way. So if you do have questions, how are we doing questions today? We're using a tool called Slido for questions. So it means if you type a question in there, it'll say, oh, there's a similar question. What is STP? Has already been asked. You can say, yeah, that's the one I actually want. So just sort of, because we'll show all the questions, makes it a bit of a cleaner experience for you guys of what you're seeing, and the right questions are being asked as well too. And we're not sort of repeating ourselves as well. To do that, go to slido.com and the event code is IPA. So just type that in, click join. You don't have to register or anything. It's just a matter of click join, type your question, and off you go. As a reminder, at the bottom of all the slides in the bottom left-hand side corner, it always has questions, slido.com and event code IPA. So just a little reminder, if you go, oh, where did I have to go for questions? That's where we need to put them in. That panel, that GoToWebinar panel, if that's in your way, just click a little orange arrow, it will disappear. Bring it back out again if you need to, just click it again. Just a little disclaimer on today's webinar as well too. So the contents of this video are of a general nature and is for guidance only. IPA Books Plus does not provide professional or taxation advice. That's what you guys all are joining in, because this is the IPA Books Plus for the members. And viewers should consult with your professional body for advice on specific circumstances. So if you have some concerns around parts of single touch payroll and its implementation of that, have a chat with the IPA and they can sort of help you with that, even champion a case around that as well too. I know Andrew's good at that, as we know. So STP is for all businesses, single touch payroll. July the 1st, 2018, businesses with more than 20 employees had to start reporting under single touch payroll legislation. From 1 July this year, businesses with 19 and under employees are having to report through single touch payroll as well too. So it's a big shift, and this is where Books Plus comes in. It's a great little solution to help with that. Now, I know there's a whole heap of a few caveats for closely held and 1-to-4s and that sort of thing. So if you need to know that, of course, your best resource is the ATO, or of course your professional body on the exact who fits into that. So today's focus is around what can Books Plus offer you from an STP point of view. For STP, we partnered up with Reckon to use their GovConnect product. So it's a separate product to Books Plus. So it's just, excuse me, just purely used for the submission of the STP data. Books Plus is used for all the payroll processing, and GovConnect is just used to submit that data to the ATO. And we'll see this as we go through. So the IPA Books Plus Reckon GovConnect Advantage. So IPA Books Plus has an easy to use standalone payroll module for $5 a month. Books Plus you can also use for everything else in the business, a full SME accounting package, invoicing, bank data, reporting, BAS, budgets, projects, time and expenses, that sort of thing, the billing, of course. So you add those different modules on as you go, but as I said, we're focusing on the payroll and the STP. So there is, you can use the payroll module on its own for $5 a month as well. Best part about this, unlimited employees in that $5 a month per entity, that is, of course, unlimited employees. So you prepare everything directly in Books Plus, send it over to GovConnect through direct API connectivity. So click of a button, it sends that data over. GovConnect is free. It's part of your IPA Books Plus portal. It's just another product to enable. So, and then you can review everything in GovConnect before it gets submitted as well too. So it is that great little extra part within there as well. So the STP process to do is create the book in Books Plus. Then you need to go and create your GovConnect STP entity. And we're going to take you through some of this today as well. Set up the payroll and all the employees and super funds and so forth. The pay run is completed as normal. Send the data to GovConnect, open GovConnect, check it all off, submit to the ATO. So creating account for GovConnect, how do we do this? So if you're already been using IPA Books Plus, you'll already be familiar with this step already. So it's a matter of just signing into your IPA Books Plus account, and then from the available products in the middle there, let me just grab my little pointer. So we've got available products, you've got GovConnect, so you can click on that. Just go and we can start that process of adding that there. But when I do click on GovConnect, if you're already using Books Plus, just log in and enable this as well. So as I said, we just click that add product and GovConnect. You will get prompted the first time you go in there that IPA Books, that multi-factor authentication is mandatory now on GovConnect. So it's something the ATO have said is mandatory. So we need to set that up. So we've got a few different ways that we can set that up. We've got the SMS code option. So for people who aren't using smartphones and that, they can use the SMS code. We've also got the Google Authenticator mobile phone app, and we've also got the Google Authenticator Chrome browser add-on. I stress that it is Chrome and Chrome only. So how do each of these work? So first of all, we've got the SMS code option, and it's just a matter of when you click the let's get going, put in your number and send the code, enter the number in, and then you can verify that there. So we can see the message coming through, but we can also see that that whole process within there. Of course, that number will be needed every time you need to access GovConnect. Now, it is a 30-day cycle, so you put it in today on the 27th of June, and I don't need to do it again until the 27th of July. So I don't need to do it all the time, but of course, you do need access to that mobile phone to enter that verification code in there as well. So just be aware of that. If you do change computers, of course, you would need to do it again. You've also got the, once you do set that up, it says, this is just all part of the whole process of making sure things are done properly. A recovery pin is going to be created if you lose your phone, for example, and you need to revoke the MFA because you can't use that device for authentication. You need a recovery pin so we can get in and revoke that MFA and start again. So this pin must be stored securely. Save it in a couple of places, take a photo of it, you know, that sort of thing. So just please make sure that that is stored securely. We've also got the Google Authenticator app as well too. So if you've said you want to use that, just go into the App Store or Play Store, download the Google Authenticator, scan the QR code. It's going to generate and lock your email address in with the Authenticator. Enter the code in and verify as well. So again, this is something we don't ever delete this authentication app without revoking anything because you're in a world of pain. But of course, if you do lose your phone as well, the important thing we need to have kept is the recovery pin. I know I'm repeating myself here, but I can't stress how important it is to record and store securely this recovery pin. Following on from that is, as I said, we've got the browser authenticator as well too for Chrome. Go onto Chrome's web store, search for the authenticator, and then click add to Chrome. You can't have the authenticator on both your phone and your mobile at the same time, so it's one or the other. So when I've added that in, I'll just get this little icon up in the top right-hand corner with the Authenticator, little QR code symbol. When I click on that the first time, it asks me to, I click on the little button that says scan QR code. You can see that highlighted there. And then I just drag that around the QR code box, and it then locks and loads everything into the Authenticator add-on on my Chrome browser. Pop in my code, and then each time I go in there, it'll ask me a code when I need to have that code coming through. Now, again, don't delete the add-on unless you need to. And again, as I've said before, we need to restore securely that recovery pin that is created for you as well too. So please make sure you take note of that. So just to recap on a couple of those things, MFA is at a user level, shouldn't share your MFA code. So if two people need to get into single touch payroll for one of your clients, they will need to have their own separate portal accounts, and we share the STP entity with them. And we're going to have a look at sharing in just a moment as well too, after we go through the setup process. So yeah, we just want to make sure of that. Can't use on both your PC and smartphone at the same time, and do not delete the Authenticator app until it is revoked there. So once I'm in there, it gives me this get started with single touch payroll. So I just click on the get started. It asks me to pop in the ABN of the entity that I'm setting up. I click verify. It goes and sucks down from the ABR the legal company name that's in there, and that legal company name, the company name's the loose terminology of company name here as well. But it could be the trustee for, it could be a partnership name, sole traders legal name as well too. So it is the legal name that's on the ABR. That email address fills from your portal account. When I've done that, click on submit. And then I'm just choosing the product that I'm wanting to use with single touch payroll. You've only got one choice, it's Books Plus. Click save my settings. It will then take me through into my GovConnect STP account. There's a and at the moment, no data has been received, but at the moment there is a very important bit of information that sits under the name, and that's your software ID. This is unique to to each GovConnect entity that is set up. It holds that ABN, but it just means that it's going to be submitted through the GovConnect process, and so it's just identifying that with the ATO. So when you first get in there, it shows up under the name. It's also available under the company and advisor info as well too. So it needs to be registered with the ATO. You can ring up the 1300 number on the screen, or go onto the ATO Access Manager. And as you're the tax agent for your clients, you can easily do this on their behalf as well too. So the important thing, speaking of being a tax agent or a BAS agent, you need to also add yourselves as an advisor if you're going to be lodging on behalf of your clients. So this is just below that in that company advisor info. You've got that add an advisor, pop that in there, complete your details, ABN, tax agent number, so forth, and submit, and it locks it in there. If you've added something in here, your client can't submit, and vice versa. So just be aware of that, make sure only put it in there if you're going to be doing the submission. So sharing an STP entity is the next little part here. So back when I've got back to the main screen, I'm seeing my STP entity sitting in there. Now, the STP entity should be set up under your client's portal login, even if they're never going to use it, never going to do anything about it. You're doing it all. Set it up under them because it's their data, and if they ever move from you as an accountant, they need to be able to access STP. So set it up under them, and then just share it back with you if you're doing all the lodgements. So next to the name, and it's not showing on here at the moment because it's hidden behind this share with user, but you'll see 3 little dots. So click on those 3 little dots, and you get this share with user. Put in the email address of who you're sharing it with, click save, and that is automatically shared with you. So your client's sharing it back with you. If you need to get rid of the sharing at any time, just come into the same area and just click the little bin next to the name of the person you don't want to have access to anymore. So you as an advisor will go into the shared with me area, and that's where you will see any of those STP entities that have been shared with you. If you want to add another STP entity for another client, or sorry, not for another client, they might have another payroll entity when you're sitting on your client's machine, just go up to add product in the top right, go add Reckon GovConnect and go through that same process again. And you can see on that one that's already there, you can see those 3 little dots that you do click on to do that share with me. So adding another entity, quick and easy, follow that process back through. Just before I move on to the next little part, just want to reconfirm for people who have just come through a little bit after the start there. Today's webinar will be recorded. We'll send it off to the IPA for them to upload onto their YouTube channel so it can be viewed there. But also, if you have questions, you'll notice in the bottom left-hand corner, the questions, we're using a tool called Slido. Go to slido.com. You don't need to register anything. Just put in the event code in the box and click join, type your question, and off you go. So how do I configure Books Plus for STP? So the first thing is the company legal name and address. So I go into settings and book settings, and I need to go into the general details down the bottom there. And I've got the legal name, and I need to have that matching what's come through on the ABR. So if that says the trustee for the XYZ family trust sort of thing, I need to put that legal name in there as well. Below that is the ABN, so that needs to be put in just exactly as the ABN is. Then onto legal address, we need to make sure that we've got that legal address put through on there. In very, very important thing, and this is anywhere within Books Plus, wherever the state is, it always must be Victoria. Just pick it from the drop-down box. Can't be Vic, can't be Tas, can't be anything like that. It will throw an error. So please make sure it is the name in full there. The other thing too is on allowances, need to make sure if you're using any allowances at all that they are set to the defined ATO allowance type. So you can see them on the drop down: car, transport, laundry, meals, travel, other. You can call it whatever you want, the name, but it must fit in with the ATO guidelines on the type allowance type now. So just be aware of that. And reviewing the employee details is the next important thing. Things like name needs to be their full legal name. So if someone's known as Thomas, but their name, if someone's known as Tom, but their name is actually Thomas, need to make sure it says Thomas in here as well too. That includes any name, anyone's known by another name and nickname, someone might have anglicized the name, it needs to be their actual legal name that is appearing in here as well too. Employer number is now mandatory. That's available under the employment tab. Any old number that you want, it can be alphanumeric or just alpha, just numeric, whatever it might be. You can add that in there. Make sure start dates under the employment tab as well, and things like addresses and phone numbers, dates of birth, and all of that are up to date as well too. So how do I process single touch payroll within Books Plus? So we process the pay run as we normally do. So we just go under the pay runs, we just click add, we run the pay run, mark it as post the pay run, mark it as paid, finalize it, I should say. And you just make sure that it has been finished and the status is paid. So when that has happened, there's a menu item on Books Plus. If I just grab my little pointer here. So pay runs are done up under here, and I've got my single touch payroll. If I go to that area, and I will see my information come through from my latest pay run. Click on so as I say, click single touch payroll, click on the latest pay run, the one that's got the status of draft. So I can then go in and I can see the employees that are in that pay run, the payments from and to, year-to-date gross, year-to-date PAYG. And if it was an update event, I tick and I'll talk about the event types in a moment, I tick that box to say an update. If I'm happy with that, I just click send to GovConnect STP, click that, and off I go. I've also got the ability to send full file replacement, so that's error correction, or send update as well too. So I'm just saying send an updated information over rather than everything. Otherwise, it's just a normal pay event. So Your normal everyday processing, as we spoke about these pay event types, and normal everyday thing is just a normal pay event. Full file replacement, error correction. Realize you've been underpaying someone's been on the wrong amount, need to fix all of that up. Update event is new record information. So an employee might not have given you their tax file number, so we need to add that in, change of address, that sort of thing. Final pay event. So this happens with two different ways. If an employee is terminated throughout the year, and a termination including a resignation, then they're automatically marked as a final pay event from the fact that we've said employees resigned for on this date. It's marked through, sent through that they're terminated from that business. The other final pay event is a year-end confirmation, or I should say finalisation process. So it's confirming with the ATO that the figures that have been sent through are final for the year, just like when we do the payment summaries. And I'll talk about the year-end finalisation process a little bit later on. So after I've clicked that send to GovConnect, it prompts me with you have successfully sent the data, the status has changed to sent, and now I can click on the launch GovConnect STP. So how do I submit the single touch payroll data? So I click on GovConnect, complete the multi-factor authentication on entry if required, click the verify, and it takes me straight through into my GovConnect area. It will show the software ID up under the name. This is just an old screenshot. I've just realized I haven't updated. The software ID is always visible in there. So just if you do need that, it's always going to be there. And the latest payment date of the pay run there is going to show in this area. I've also got the latest pay run will always show as number 1 here with the pay date, number of employees, the status is draft because I haven't submitted, total gross, POIG, if it's an update event or not. And if I'm happy with that, I can just click submit. If I realize there's something wrong, I delete, I go back to Books Plus, fix up the pay runs and resend, simple and easy. But I can also click on this detail button, and that detail button actually allows me to see the breakdown of that pay run. So it lists each individual employee with their pay information, gross, POIG, super, and so forth. I don't have to go back to the previous screen. I can just submit all from here if I'm happy with everything. If I'm not happy, I can delete, but I can very quickly do that. Or I can click view details again to see the actual details of each individual employee. So I can then see their address, their email, dates of birth, and that sort of thing. So we'll go back to this submission side. So I click on submit all. Now, if a business owner is doing the submission and you as the advisor aren't doing it, this is the declaration they get for digital signing. They click that, click confirm, and it sends it through. If you're lodging on behalf of your clients, it's a slightly different declaration. So you can see that up on the screen there, that I'm prepared this report and so forth. So just be aware, if you're marked as an advisor, it is this one. When it comes back submitted, you're going to get one of 3 status messages come back. So the first one that you always hope for is the nice green success status message with the receipt number. Sometimes you might get a pending message that just, they might be a little bit overloaded, but it's going to go through soon enough. You just come back, keep checking on that to make sure it does go through and no errors. And the other one is you might get the ATO status error. Click here to view the response messages. It could be someone's missing a wrong tax file number, date of birth, those sort of things, employee number, so forth. A lot of the times Books Plus won't actually let the data to be submitted over to GovConnect if there's some major errors like that in any way. So a lot of that error checker happens before it goes through. But you just click to see the error message and make the corrections as you need to in Books Plus and resend through. That'll come back with a status of accepted, and sorry, this is what it looks like with the submitted there, and all the pay events will run through and you'll see them. So the end of financial year process for STP. Now, I know not everyone's probably going to be looking at this stage. Some people are starting single touch payroll off from the start of the year. The beauty part about single touch payroll with the end of financial year is if you were to lodge one, say today, it puts through all the year-to-date figures for the employees for the last 12 months because it's just year-to-date figures. That means you don't have to worry about MGIP files and payment summaries and that from the system. Everything just goes through the STP process. So that's why some are doing it for now, but just be aware, if you do one submission, you're into STP. So you can't do it as a test. Once you've clicked submit, you're locked into STP. So if that's not what you wanted, just wait another 3 days. We've got a new menu item, single touch payroll, EOFY. I don't like this Officeworks name, EOFY or whatever it is, like seriously, some American crap. End of financial year, EOFY, end of financial year, I just click on that and I go add single touch payroll report, pick the year that I want it for, and it will show me the year, the number of employees, the date created, and it's sitting at a status of draft. So I just click on that to get into it. It listed both the employees, the date of finalization. Normally this would be later on in the year, of course. This is when I grabbed the screenshot for. It shows me the year-to-date gross and PAYG for the employees, and I just click send to GovConnect. That sends that data over to GovConnect. Similar, same sort of process as what we're doing with just the payroll pay run data each time. Click launch, and as you see, this is set to send. I go into GovConnect and my latest pay run is then sitting there. As you can see, software ID is up the top, but you'll notice it's an update event. So all I'm doing is updating the ATO to say that everything, if there's no changes to the figures that have been sent through, I'm updating the ATO to say these figures are final, released to the tax agent pre-fill system and to the MyGov system. And they're doing what they're called income statements now. Payment summaries are no longer a legal document, but you can still produce them, but they're not a legal document. So if someone really wants one, you can give them one. But they're either using an accountant or MyGov. If they're doing their tax through MyGov, they can go on, the data comes down automatically. If they're doing it through an accountant, well, they don't need to worry about their MyGov and that as much anyway. But it's updating the event. If someone's information changes, there's a last minute bonus or an update, oh, this is wrong or something like that, it's still an update event because you're updating the ATO to say that figure I previously told you is wrong, it should actually be this. So that's why it's an update event. Like we did before when we were in doing the normal everyday pay run process, I can submit from here, I can view that extra detail from within here as well too. So I've got that information coming through. So there's that extra detail again. I can drill into that and then I submit and I just get my message coming back with my status of success there. Okay, so we've got just some frequently asked questions just before I roll into just all the other questions within here as well too. So we have got some frequently asked questions that do come up a fair bit. So the first one is, what is the time frame to submit STP reporting after the pay run? So the ATO have defined, and this is then put into legislation, that you will need to submit STP data on or before the day the employee expects to receive their pay. So when the pay run is completed. As I said, this is ATO legislation. There's no wriggle room. There's no if, buts, maybes, buts, or anything there. If employees are paid weekly and a bookkeeper or someone goes in, or you as the accountant only ever do it every quarter, ignoring the closely held, of course, you process all the pay slips, the process needs to change. It needs to be done on the day that the pay run happens. Closely held, of course, can be done quarterly with the BAS, but yeah, if you want to know more about the closely held and how all that works, do go and jump onto the ATO website and find that out, or also speak to the IPA as well too. But yeah, just so you're aware, everything needs to be done when they're paid, but there are different rules for closely held, of course. If I go on holidays, how do we submit STP? So you'll need to share that with someone else. So for a business owner, if they're doing the submission, someone else in the firm, or if they want, they can ask you nicely as their advisor, can you lodge it for me while I'm away? And they just need to share it with you anyway. Or they can submit before, and if there's any changes, they just do an update event within there. We also get queried, can the STP file be uploaded onto the ATO business or tax agent portal? No, it cannot be. The ATO does not provide a portal to submit STP. They have stated that they must be submitted by the payroll software, and they will never be doing STP software. If you look in the tax agent portal, there is an area for STP. It's for reports, and it's also for notifying the ATO when things like closely held and that sort of thing. But it's reports on what's already been submitted and that notification area. So it can only be done through the software. Other ones are, can I have more than one person accessing a GovConnect account? Yes, you can. So just like that sharing we were talking about, so they'll need to have their own separate portal account due to the MFA, because if I share it with John, he doesn't have my phone to log in, so therefore satisfy the MFA, so therefore I need to share it with him so he can do that. If a mistake is made in one employee's pay after I submitted it, you can fix it up in the next pay event because it's year-to-date figures being sent through, and it will be updated then, or edit the pay run in question and then send an update event through to the ATO using GovConnect. Now, if I need to change my multi-factor authentication device, say I've got a new phone, what do? Or I want to change from SMS to Google Authenticator or back, what do I need to do? You'll need to revoke your current MFA to access on the portal and then re-establish the new method within there. So I just go into the IPA Books Plus portal, the same place. Up in the top right-hand corner, I'll just grab my little thingy. Top right-hand corner, I've got my profile. Click on that, and as I scroll down, you'll see multi-factor authentication, revoke. And if I click on revoke, I then enter in my recovery PIN, or if I've still got my actual phone, I can go MFA code and put that in and revoke that and change over. Next time you log in, it'll ask you to set up the MFA again, and you choose your preferred method of setting up MFA. Now, just remember, as I go through these, if you have any questions, just go to slido.com, type in the event code IPA, click join, and we'll answer these at the end. Another one that comes up is, how do I edit my company information on GovConnect? So you can't do this. So if you need to do this, you go back into Books Plus and go back into the book settings to change that information around addresses, phone numbers, emails, contact person, that sort of thing, and then send that data, or just when you do the next STP send of data over, it will send over and update this information for you. So it's no big stress there. Easy enough to do that. So we do have some common error messages, and how do we go through and fix those? So one we get is when people are starting off the first time with STP, they're creating the entity, and it says it's unable to create STP entity or the subscription. So that means the ABN is already registered with GovConnect. So you might have already used it somewhere else and you've forgotten about it under another login. Your client might have already set it up, or under the profile area again, like where we were a moment ago, the information is not complete here. So just go through and fix up your name. It might just have your first name needs your last name. Another one here is type the correct code when you're trying to do the MFA multi-factor authentication. It's telling you that. It's just an error in the syncing with the Google Authenticator back with Google. So just open up the app, and then we've got a couple of ways we can correct that. As I say, this is recorded, and I think this is also up on the help site, these sort of error messages and common help. So on the help.ipabooksplus.com. So if you need to refer back to them, they're there. Also, the member support will help you out as well too. Invalid company information provided when you're first trying to send it over. Your legal name's not, is wildly different to what's on the ABR, ABN's out, address isn't complete, that sort of thing. So just make sure they're all updated, and then you can go back in and resend that information. Sometimes we get a pull request error, so just so you know what this means, because it's in typical ATO speak, as accountants and dealing with the ATO, you'd be used to this. They're just experiencing extended processing times. Check back later and the status will be updated there as well. So that's all that one means. So how do we get ready for STP? So we want to make sure that this is if you've already been using Books Plus, because we know we've got people that have been using it for quite a while since it's launched back in about September-ish last year. Perform a data audit on there, make sure the information in your book is correct, ensure the employee start dates are correct, employee numbers are now required and they are unique to each employee as well. TFN's correct, and also let employees know what is happening as well too. So they're often sometimes kept in the dark on what this is all about. A couple of single touch payroll resources. So the IPA Help Center, so step-by-step guide on all of this, help, including the payroll setup, help.ipabooksplus.com. And then further to that is some single touch payroll resources on the Reckon website, because we're partnered up with them for their GovConnect side. If you just look for single touch payroll there's some further information. Just remember, you have got your help as well too, the member support. You get to speak to a real person on the phone. So you've got a separate number to your clients. So just be aware of that, and their emails there as well too. So get in touch with them if you do need any assistance with Books Plus as well too. You've also got your contact details of your BDM and customer success managers as well too. The IPA Training Academy has just general how-to videos on Books Plus. There's some manuals, recorded webinars as well too. And as I say, this one will also be added onto the IPA YouTube channel, which is there. If you're not familiar with the IPA YouTube channel, just jump onto YouTube, type Institute of Public Accountants, and then videos are in there as well too. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to throw it open to questions. So if you have any questions, go to slido.com, type in the event code of IPA, click join, type in your question, and we'll go through and answer those as well too. I know at this point in time we haven't seen any questions come through. So yeah, if you do have any questions, go to slido.com, type your questions in, and we'll answer those. But if you do need to run off as well too, do want to thank you for attending today for the webinar. And yeah, look forward to seeing you again. But we'll of course be here for a bit longer as we're waiting for some of those questions to come through. So slido.com, type in IPA, click join, and we'll answer those. So at the moment, I haven't seen any questions come through. Looks like we might have covered everything off in a fairly comprehensive manner, including our frequently, I can't speak, of course, frequently asked questions. But we will hang around here for another few moments and just see if anything comes through on the question side. But if you do need to go, that's fine as well too. But yeah, if anything comes through on the question side, we'll answer those. But other than that, thank you very much for attending, and have a great day. Okay, so it doesn't look like we've got any questions. So what I might do is I'll end the webinar now because I know everyone's busy with the end of financial year. If something does come up, as I say, for you guys as members, you've got your member support queries, you've got your BDM contact details, CSM contact details. So do get in touch with us if anything comes up as well too. So, but yeah, want to thank you all for attending. Have a great day, and we shall see you all again at a webinar in the near future as well too. So, but yeah, thank you very much and goodbye.